Hello and welcome to Music Monday, New Mexico. My name is Alma Castro. I'm your host for today's show, and it is my pleasure to have with us today Scotty and the Atomics. So enjoy the show.
Oh, this is one of our favorite songs called Santa Fe Nights, Albuquerque Days.
Yeah. Greetings, everyone.
Well, I don't know what I'm doing. Well, I don't know what to say. Well, I don't know what you're wanting from me every time you look at me that way. Well, that night on the plaza, and the moon was all ablaze. Santa Fe nights, Albuquerque days. Well, the moon was so bright and it shone through the night and the way. And what could I do but just fall into you and your gaze? Santa Fe nights, Albuquerque days. Well, here we are all together, and we're dancing in the rain. We're making love to the stars again and again. I fell in love with New Mexico and all the many ways. Santa Fe nights, Albuquerque days. Santa Fe nights, Albuquerque days. Santa Fe nights, Albuquerque days. Hey! All right. Well, plenty of nights in Santa Fe, plenty of days in Albuquerque, and we love them all. So if we get a little rain, always appreciate a little rain in New Mexico. Wrote this song a few years back to busk on Central with, and it has stayed around for a long time. It's a song called Rainy Day. Watching TV, staying out late at night, just you and me. You got me feeling it's alright. Well, I'm saving for a rainy day, and holding your hand and standing at your door and making all kinds of plans, or watching a movie, or staying up late at night, just you and me. You got me feeling it's alright. Well, I'm singing for a rainy day, singing for a rainy day, yeah, yeah. Singing for a rainy day, just you and me. Oh, oh yeah. Just you and me, yeah. All right. Well, this is actually a true story. This next song is called Margarita, and it's because my neighbor lady I went to high school with, we met up with each other a few years later. She lived right down the street from me. I said, Margarita, how you doing? She says, Scotty. I said, I've got a band. And she said, well, write a song about me. So I have, and gosh, the thing has stayed around for a long time. It has not dropped off the set list yet, so here's a song called Margarita. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro. Oh, Margarita, Margarita, you're my lovely Latin lady. Your raven black hair will smile all the way to my heart. Oh, your skirt was softly flowing. We danced in the moonlight. I love you, my darling, and I love you all of my life. Oh, that night on the patio, and your lips were softly whispering, I love you. All I knew, you took my heart without me ever even knowing. Margarita, Margarita, you're my lovely Latin lady. I love you, my darling, I love you all of my life. Oh, that night on the patio, and your lips were softly blowing, and I knew you took my heart without me ever even knowing. Margarita, Margarita, you're my lovely Latin lady. I love you, my darling, I love you all of my life. Oh, that night on the patio, and Glad to be here on Music Mondays. Here's a song. I grew up in the valley of Albuquerque, went to Valley High School. Really love it down there. Love the cottonwoods and the river, everything about it. So here's a song called The Valley.
In a movie, oh, went by so fast. It was meant to last. Well, you have to appreciate the valley, the valley. You have to get down with the low. Oh, you have to help out as you're coming up, my friend. You have to know which way to go.
Here's a song called Hidden Treasure.
You see a man walking down the road, carrying a heavy load, and you know he's trying. You see little children on the street, begging for something to eat, and you know they're crying and dying. Wondering where else can you go? Life's a little bit slower, but you just don't know. Wanting everything to be so right, never put up a fight, but it's one long night, one long night. We're looking for hidden treasure. It's getting closer every day. We keep looking for hidden treasure along the way. Yeah, yeah. Along the way. Yeah, yeah. You know we've been around this world at least 1,000,000 times. Pumped 1,000,000 websites and phone numbers through our minds. But there's one thing that keeps coming back to me again and again. Is the love that you show me. Treasure. It's getting closer every day. We keep looking for hidden treasure along the way.
us in Music Mondays.
You guys lied to me. This is fun.
That's Peter Forbes. That's our drummer back there. And Mr. Ray Scott on bass. Scott Steele, singer-songwriter. Have a band called Scotty and the Atomics. Love for you to join us. And here's another song called Slip Slide. My dad wrote this about 25 years ago here in Albuquerque due to the gang-banging problems we were having and still do, so that's why it's still on the set list. So here's a song my dad wrote called Slip Slide. Slip slide. Another kid in the barrio died tonight. Slip slide. Slip slide. Another kid in the barrio died. Another kid in the barrio died. Another kid in the barrio died tonight. Behind the corner, smell big and wide. I shot him and he died. Slip slide, slip slide. Another kid in the barrio died tonight. Slip slide. Another kid in the barrio died. Another kid in the barrio died. Another kid in the barrio died tonight. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna say? Oh man, I shouldn't have done it that way. Slip slide. Another kid in the barrio died tonight. Slip slide. is one way to beat off a chill. I hope everyone's enjoying the music so far. This is a song about living life too fast.
I've never seen you put your feet up. You never ever sit down. You're always going a million miles an hour. You never ever leave town. But one of these days, it will all catch up with you. One of these days, it will all transpire. One of these days, we'll look up and our lives will be through. One of these days. One of these days, oh yeah, oh yeah. One of these days, oh yeah. I've never seen you with your feet up. You always seem to have it made. You're always going a million miles an hour. You never ever get late. But one of these days, it will catch up with you. One of these days, it will all transpire. One of these days, we'll look up and our lives will be through. One of these days. One of these days, yeah, one of these days.
All right. Oh, that was fun. Here's a song called Nativa.
having fun, walking through a picture, trying to find a simple way to escape. I work so hard, but I'm still getting older. I've got to find me a senorita and take a break. Sativa, yo quiero mi vida siempre. Mi vida. Going down. Sativa, yo quiero mi vida siempre. Sativa, yo quiero. And I see you walking by my window in the morning when I'm getting myself ready to go to work. And I wonder if you know me, if you've seen me, if you even care. And I'm wondering if you'll let me take you out. Sativa, yo quiero mi vida siempre. Mi amor, Sativa, yo quiero mi vida siempre. Quiero andar. All right. Yeah. Okay. Excellent. So here's a song I wrote a while back about a dream I had. And I finally woke up, thank goodness. But it's called Rescue Me. Someone's knocking on my front door. Well, someone's breaking in my side. Well, someone's coming through the back door. Well, I don't know. I can't hide. Will someone please rescue me? Up from this crazy nightmare. I can't sleep at all I want is sleep. Well, someone stole all my cash. Well, someone broke in my heart away, and it will happen so fast. Oh, somebody rescue me up on this crazy nighttime dream. I can't sleep, and all I want is peace. Up on the things I need. Whoa, 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 this crazy nighttime dream. I can't sleep, and all I want is peace. Yeah, yeah, on the things I do. Thank you, Music Mondays. Thank you, Albuquerque, for having us. We're Scotty and the Atomics. This is a slip slide done a little faster. Slip slide, slip slide. Another kid in the Mario band tonight. Slip slide,
Hello, and welcome to the interview portion of our show. This is Music Monday, New Mexico, and I'm your host, Alma Castro. It is our great pleasure and honor to have today with us 1/8, 1/4 of Scotty and the Atomics. We have Scott and Peter with us today during the interview. How are you guys doing today? Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having us.
I don't have a complaint in the world. I just was able to play some music, and so I'm always happy.
And some amazing music that it was. Thank you guys so much for sharing that with us. Tell us a little bit about the history of Scotty and the Atomics.
Well, I'm a singer-songwriter, and my dad was a singer-songwriter, so I guess it ran in the family. And he had moved us here when I was still in middle school, and so I grew up in high school and had my career here, my family here, and I love New Mexico, and was finally able to pick up my music and start playing it. About 10 years ago, I started a band, and we called it Scotty and the Atomics, and we wanted to stay primarily all original music, and now over 500 shows and 2 albums. You know, the albums are available on Amazon and YouTube and all the outlets. But with as much going on, we played Santa Fe for a couple of years and have a real good working band, and we needed a good, strong lineup, and we had been playing a friend's New Year's Eve party for years, and were set up one New Year's Eve and came around the corner and met this gentleman, and he has the most interesting story because he had not drummed for years, but
I'll actually tell that story.
Go ahead.
What happened was about 8 years before I met Scotty, my ears were blown out. I could not handle anything louder than a car going by. It was really that bad. And I went to various doctors, and they all sort of shrugged their shoulders and said, too bad, there's nothing we can do about it. And a friend of mine happens to own a stem cell therapy clinic in Las Vegas, Nevada. And he said, stem cells can or possibly restore your hearing. And so I said, okay, I'll undergo the treatment. It was a little on the expensive side, but I figured, hey, how much is it worth to have my hearing back, right? Well, I had the therapy done, and 1 year went by, 2 years went by, no change, no difference. And I sort of shrugged my shoulders and said, well, I guess it didn't work. Well, 5 years later, I was at a New Year's Eve party, and I always avoided the band at this particular party because my wife and I would go to this party every single year. And I would avoid the band because my ears just couldn't handle it. And I was walking by because I had to pass the band to go to another part of the house, and all of a sudden I went, it's not bothering me. I'm going, holy moly, this stuff actually works. And I hadn't picked up the sticks in 5 years. And I asked Scotty's drummer if he would mind if I sat in, or actually it wasn't even that. I started hitting his cowbell in rhythm because that was the first time I played anything. And he said, hey, you want to play? And I said, well, I haven't played in all these years. All of a sudden, I got behind the drums and all my muscle memory was there. And as a matter of fact, please forgive me for saying this. He said, why don't you play the rest of the night because I really don't think I could play after you.
Wow, that's an amazing story. Yeah, and we saw a lot of that talent today, so thank you guys very much for that set. You were mentioning it's mostly original music.
It's not mostly original music.
It's all original
Yes,
music.
I've written all of it.
And so did you have to, Peter, sit down and learn all of these new tunes?
Well, actually what happened was that Scotty was open to new interpretation of the music. And he gave me the parameters to come up with my own ad lib and my own feel to the music. And so what you heard today is essentially my interpretation of the music, because his former drummers did it a little differently, had a different feel to it, and I just put a little bit of Peter Forbes into it.
Awesome.
He's been with us for 3 years now.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Now Ray, who happens to be, he had to leave because his daughter is getting married, and the rehearsal dinner is happening right now, could not stay for the interview. But Ray and I have been playing together for about 20 years.
Okay.
And when Scotty said he needed a bass player, I said, hey, let's call Ray. And Ray's a real pro. And he just got in there and just did it.
That's amazing. Now, so this trio that we heard today is part of Scotty and the Atomics, right? You guys can go up to 8-person band from what I hear?
It varies depending on what the show
Because
is
we've seen
requiring.
up on the YouTube channel, we'll pull that up. You guys do have a YouTube channel, Scotty and the Atomics. You can check that out online, as well as the Facebook page. You have some shows where you have some horns, some other instrumentation.
We, over the last 10 years, I've been able to strike up some really great relationships with the musicians here in town. And we've probably had, I'd say, 30 musicians run through our band from time to time, whether they were just filling in for the night or played with us for 3 or 4 years. And so we've been able to develop a lot of good rapport with the musicians here in town. We can cover just a large show or a small show. Now, we've got a small little show due to the pandemic, and things aren't quite as big as they, it's going to take a while to get that going again. But we do have a Halloween costume party coming up on Halloween Eve, the night before.
October
It's
30th.
October 30th on Saturday, and it's here in Nob Hill. It's up the street in Nob Hill at a vintage clothing and restaurant called Pink Rhino.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to keep the local people involved, and she is going to have a wonderful bazaar and party all day. So for the people that enjoy Halloween and dressing up, that's going to be available on the 30th. Hope to see you guys there.
Yeah, and for those of you who are here in Albuquerque, I imagine you know the Pink Rhino. It's a really cool spot. Go out to hear Scotty and the Atomics. Then, and also just on social media, on the YouTube channel, there's a lot of really amazing music. I know some of it has been inspired by you growing up in the Midwest and your father being a bricklayer. Scott, do you want to talk to me about that?
Well, when we were able to move out here, it was a brand new start for us. And being a northern Ohio boy, the culture is, I don't want to say cultureless, it's a beautiful way to grow up. I had a wonderful childhood, but here there's so much deeper culture going back in history and with different people. You've got your native population, your Spanish population, you've got your pioneering population. This state, I'm still not bored with it. I've been here all these years and still going out and seeing wonderful things. We took the pilgrimage just kind of out of step, but we walked up to Tomei Hill just last week and prayed for our world. And I've been involved with homeless, helping homeless, and I've been involved with the churches here in town and doing what we can to help people that are on the street. I've started a photography business years ago that I retired from a few years back, but my daughter, who is provided a grandson for me, has also taken over my family business. So
Congratulations.
only thing left is for me to play music with the guys.
Speaking of cultural influences, when I joined Scotty, there was a guitar player, another guitar player. There was a gal backup vocalist / she sang some lead also. There was a Native American flute player in the band, and it was a very, very different kind of feel and configuration. And so I'm absolutely amazed at all the different changes that Scotty and the Atomics has been through over the years. But what's really neat is the fact that we can do it simply as just a trio, or we can add all kinds of, and I like to say, cultural additions to it to make us even more New Mexican.
Sure. And you can hear some of those original compositions on your latest album, is that correct?
That's right. Our latest album is Santa Fe Nights, Albuquerque Days. It's available on YouTube, Amazon, CD Baby, or you can contact us through our Facebook. And we've got download cards, or you can get the CDs. But Santa Fe Nights, Albuquerque Days came from the years that we played as the house band up in Santa Fe at the Palace, which is no longer around.
And we're hoping that album will really go someplace and put New Mexico a little bit in the forefront as well. And my first album was Slip Slide, which was the song my dad wrote about the gang problem we have here in Albuquerque. And both albums, they are a little bit different. Have a couple different players on the first album that I don't have on the second album. But they're both available. You can go to YouTube and check them out, Scotty and the Atomics, and they're both there.
And just as a little footnote, people ask me, Peter, how come you're in a band? And I tell them very seriously that it keeps me off the streets and in the bars.
Indeed. We want to thank you guys so much for being here, for taking the time. I know it's not easy to get all your equipment in the studio, and we really appreciate the amazing set you did for us. Thank you.
It was nice.
Very cool. Thank you so much. It is the epitome of what we want to do here on Music Monday, is to highlight artists who are doing, for our community what we wish we could be doing for the whole world, right? Giving them music, offering them, especially in this time of pandemic that's so difficult, another outlet. So thank you so much to our audience. Thank you, Studio 519. Music Monday, New Mexico, we really appreciate you being here with us. Check out Scotty and the Atomics, Facebook, YouTube, and out in the community. Thank you guys so much, and we appreciate having you.
Thank you, Norma. You see a man walking down the road, carrying a heavy load, and you know he's trying. You see little children on the street, begging for something to eat, and you know they're crying and dying. Wondering where else can you go? Life's a little bit slower, but you just don't know. Wanting everything to be so right, never put up a fight, but it's one long night, one long night. Looking for hidden treasure. It's getting closer every day. We keep looking for hidden treasure along the way. Yeah, yeah. Along the way, yeah, yeah. You know we've been around this world at least 1,000,000 times. Pumped 1,000,000 websites and phone numbers through our minds. But there's one thing that keeps coming back to me again and again. Is the love that you show me. Treasure
closer every day. We keep looking for